How many hearts have you broken with those great big beautiful eyes? Those great big beautiful eyes that tell such beautiful lies.
How many times have you kissed somebody like you kissed me then? I don't.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all ships at sea. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you an important message from the Prepared Mind Network.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Here I am coming at you live from the bunker. That's right, everyone. Dig in, SHTF. Woo! Off the hook. We've covered so much lately, folks. So much military stuff, educational stuff, legal stuff. We got problems down at the border. We're going to cover some more of that. Oh, yeah, that's right. We have a border crisis on the Mexican-American border that never was resolved, never got fixed, never went away. It's just the media, like Joe Biden, gets easily distracted by ice cream cones and small children. I'll tell you what, folks. Let's start off with economics. There is a problem that is 5 times bigger than the Lehman Brothers problem. And if you recall, the Lehman Brothers crisis problem was what got everyone's attention back in 2008 when we had the great, what did they call it then? They gave it some lame ass name, right? The Great Recession. That was real original. How about the fuck up El Grande on the part of the banking system and the government fiscal and monetary policymakers? Anyways, the problem that exists right now is not 1, not 2. No, folks, it's 5 times bigger than the Lehman Brothers problem. Now, here's another problem that goes along with it. This company is called Evergrande. Evergrande, folks. Sounds pretty American, doesn't it? Too bad, no, it's actually a Chinese mega corporation. Mega investment, mega real estate, mega everything corporation, and it's collapsing. It will not make its massive debt payments. And I still don't understand how investment companies owe debt. Don't people send their money in and they get their, what do we call it? Their cut? Right. Yeah, maybe they're making a bunch of bets in the market and they're losing. Maybe there's a bunch of fraud. Oh, well, how dare you, John, say that? Anyways, folks, just a little bit scary. Nothing to worry about, right? It's just Lehman Brothers, the United States' problem, times 5. That's 500% more bullshit. Now, it would be a different story, folks, if since 2008, between then and now, if the economy had grown by 10 times and Lehman Brothers was 5 times bigger, we'd say that's only half as big as Lehman Brothers. No, sorry, folks. The economies are actually weaker and the debt is 5 times bigger than Lehman Brothers. Absolute horror story going on. That's right, horror story. And we're coming up right to Halloween. It's next month? Month and it's a month and a half. It's 45 days away. And we're going to have a scary, scary, scary time. All right. I want to thank everyone, though. You're here live right now on, you got it, Patreon. Thank you, everybody, for coming to Patreon, for supporting us, sponsoring us, making sure that we have the resources we need to get the job done. I want to thank everybody on the backside, too, today, who has been sending in articles, comments, thoughts, stories. And essentially, I could talk probably for hours here, absolute hour after hour, with all the information you guys supply, much less the information that I find myself. So it's hard to pick and choose what goes in. But I'll tell you about this. I've got a news story here from Breitbart. There are right now 8,000 folks, 8,000 migrants who are under a bridge in Texas. Right, in Del Rio, Texas. According to law enforcement within the CBP, more than 8,000, mostly Haitians, who I think are mostly peaceful, but they're mostly illegal too, or all the way illegal. And this number continues to grow as they sit under this bridge. This is shaping up, folks. Biden's border crisis is shaping up to be the worst humanitarian crisis in the history of the border. You thought it was bad a few months ago. You thought all these kids being left for dead, women raped and murdered, drug trafficking, everything that's gone wrong on the border. You thought it was bad. It can get worse yet. And oh yeah, wait, this is the Mexican border, is it not? It's the Mexican-American border. What are a bunch of Haitians doing there? What are a bunch of Haitians doing there? Isn't Haiti an island in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico? I'm pretty sure it is. So somehow they managed to get all the way across the water. 8,000, that's a pretty big frickin' boat, don't you think? 8,000 of them got to Mexico, dry land, and then went up through Mexico to the American border. Sounds a little fishy to me, and I don't mean the good kind of fish. I mean the stinky kind of fish. All right, I tell you what, folks. Yep. If I can, I want to get you guys to Patreon, and here's why. It is absolutely critical, folks, that we keep talking. As things get worse, as they go to shit, the censors, the government, the liars out there, they're all going to want to control your thoughts. This is about mind control. This channel right here, us, me, you, us, all gathering together, it's about us talking, and it's about them trying to stop us and find an excuse for it. So you can't think outside the box. Now, you all know about the recall election that was going on in California. And somehow, after Cerveza-Bug and Governor Newsom acting like a hypocritical, lying pile of shit, locking down and punishing Californians, they're so pissed off at him that more people voted for him to keep him in than voted for him to get him in office in the first place. Does that make any sense to you? Sounds a little like other elections, huh? Anyways, here's some interesting stuff, right? My wife and I just went to vote. Our name showed up that somebody had already voted for us. On top of that, about 70% of the others showed up, experienced the same thing. Yeah, things that make you go, right? Let's see, Candace Owens, one of my favorites, brilliant lady, said she received about 20 emails from people telling her that they went to vote, only to learn that they had voted. Yeah, there needs to be an investigation here, huh? Very interesting. DC Drano tweeted out, very strange to watch California do everything they can to stop a black man from becoming governor of California. Yeah, between the media and everyone else. Yeah. Let's see. This is a great moniker. Cat Turd. Oh, and it's trademarked too. Cat Turd says the California population fell by more than 180,000 people. Folks, that's a lot of freaking people leaving California. I don't think they're counting the people coming in for free, though. Anyway, Democrats, right? The state's being destroyed. Businesses are being chased out. Tax revenue is dropping. Everything's going all wrong. And Democrats vote for more of that. Can you imagine being that dumb? It's just incredible, folks. This is all happening right now while we are alive. You and I. In our lifetimes. I never thought I would see this sort of crap. And this just in, hot off the presses, federal judge sides with Governor DeSantis over in the state of Florida on his mask mandate ban. He's not saying you can't wear a mask. He's saying you can't make someone else wear a mask. Hey, that sounds a little like freedom, don't you think? Makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. Here's another good one. And folks, the debate will continue until good and evil are completely separated, until there is victory in this conflict that we're having, this SHTF nightmare. It's crazy. President Trump has warned that Saturday, and as in a couple days, Saturday's Justice for J6 rally is a setup meant to make Democrats, Republicans, patriots look bad, to make us look stupid. It looks like and smells like it could be a massive false flag coming. So much so that even Trump is saying, hey, look out. This Justice for J6 is the January 6 people who are right now locked up in the Bastille, the Washington, D.C. Bastille political prison. Now, it makes sense to have a rally there supporting justice, but that provides the political leftist scumbags opportunities for their agents provocateur, for the FBI's undercover agents that need to justify their job by committing crimes. Well, causing others to commit crimes. Yeah, now that sounds about right, doesn't it? Because that's actually what the FBI does. They infiltrate groups, cause them to cause crimes, and then arrest them and say, see, look, they're bad. And this looks like another opportunity for a big, big, big setup. And the hits keep coming. The hits keep coming. We warned each other. We talked to each other. We shared with each other. We said, shit hitting the fan. It is coming. It's coming. It got here now. And we're like, okay, this is what it looks like. This is what it smells like. And they've been pushing wave after wave of stupid, taking our rights, making more demands, lying to us left and right. And they've done it so long and so well that the Democrat idiots, the people on the left, the socialists, the fascists, the communist totalitarian types, they have fully committed to complete total ignorance and stupidity. Get this. A fully vaccinated woman's family is blaming the unvaxxed for her death. If she was able to get cerveza bug, then if she can get it, can't other people who have gotten the tequila shot, can't they get the cerveza bug also? And then give it to each other without the assistance of anyone who is unvaxxed, right? They don't even need the unvaxxed for this equation that they've developed. Cerveza bug goes around, and even if you're vaccinated against it, you can still get it. So why do they need, oh, that's right, they need someone to blame. They need some kind of a scapegoat. They need to divide us off. Oh, the unvaccinated. And then demonize us. Oh, we're killing people because, well, anyone can die at any time from anything, but, we're going to blame this group. That's the best they can do to dehumanize you, folks, because the defense you have against their demands, their mandates, makes so much sense, they can't even see it anymore. Look, if you're vaccinated, you're safe, says President Joe Biden. You won't get it, says Joe Biden. But apparently, you can still get it even if you're vaccinated. So again, what's the point of getting the vaccine? Well, because the big smart people recommend it, and that's the way it goes. But tell me again why the tequila shot is needed if everyone can still get and spread cerveza bug on their own? Meaning, even if 100% of people got vaccinated, just a silly question. If 100% got vaccinated, it can still be transmitted person to person, still spread around, then why are we getting vaccinated at all? If it can still spread, if it still exists. It's just a fair question, right? Democrats are that fucking stupid, folks. They're that stupid. And speaking of stupid, here is one of the queens of stupid, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She is in a little more trouble than she was even yesterday. Now, a second ethics complaint has been filed because she attended the the Met Gala, and she accepted $30,000 to $50,000 tickets for her and her boyfriend. She's got a soy boy toy. Anyways, she has done this, right? And now anyone can read this story, but I caught this little bit of information. I thought you should know about it. at this star-studded, elite-attended event, they all had no masks on. But guess who did have masks on? The workers, the little people, folks. Workers are dirty. The elites, though, they're safe and clean. They're special. They're elite. Do you see the two-tiered system coming? This divide between the elite and us dirty common folks. The aristocrats and the peasants. The political scum, our overlords, and us normies. They claim to be better, folks, and they want it visible. This is about optics. Never mind, she's going to, oh, AOC, you bad girl, don't do that. But people are seeing that they're unmasked and that the workers, the servers, must cover their filthy fucking faces. Remember how I've been talking about these sadistic bastards in charge? They want to be on planes flying wherever they want to go, but they don't want you on a plane. They want to go on their vacations. They don't want you to be able to go anywhere. They want to be free to move about, and they want you controlled and held down. They have special rules for them and draconian communism for us. Can you see it? Do you understand? Years ago, I said, neo-feudalism is coming. Years before I said it, someone said it to me, and I was like, neo-feudalism? The hell are you talking about, man? Aristocrats, peasants, special rules, draconian rules. Just because it's 2021 doesn't mean we can't have a feudal state where those who think they are demigods get to have it all their way and control us and everything in our lives. Folks, there are tons of reports of election inconsistencies pouring in California. I'm not going to be able to talk about it a whole lot. I just want you guys to know about it and be aware. If you're on Patreon, I will put links to all the news stories there. Actually, I take that back. I'll give the links to Jolene. And Jolene, behind the scenes, does all kinds of stuff. She's got her fingers on the keyboard, hand on the mouse, got her thinking cap on. She's kicking ass. We've got everyone, folks, all over everything. Thank you so much for your help. Really, really. Oh, there it is again. There it is again. Oh, I couldn't believe it when I read this, folks. Are you ready for this? Breathe in, breathe out, John. I tell you, they get to me, they get under my skin and everything else. They would love to get rid of me, though, folks. They would love to leave you with nobody to listen to, not me, not anyone else, just on your own and tuning into CNN. Well, they might get rid of me. And if they do, if you go to Patreon, you're good. But everyone else, not everyone has done what we've done. Jolene and I talked about this years ago. Getting on Patreon, having a website, thepreparedmind.club, where you can get a VPN, a virtual private network, where you can get solar panels, where you can get water filters, long-term food, all that shit we have. We talked about it years ago, knowing they might try and kick us off. Well, they've really tried. They've really tried, but we've decided we're going to play nice. We're going to follow the terms of service, even though the elite don't have to. We decided we're going to follow the community guidelines, even though the elite don't have to. The left doesn't have to. The Taliban doesn't have to. But we do. We're nice guys. We play nice, but we want to get information out. There's other types of information for prepping, though, and it can be found, all of it, at theRsyndicate.com. It's important to share this website so that people can get information from all different sources, all the prepper channels for all the different prepping sectors. Like everything, it doesn't have to be complicated, but it takes some time and effort to figure this out. We've had years and years, and there's still new people coming on, and we still want to make all this available. And Uman, moderator of the Blue Mighty Wrench, he has taken his time and his money to put together the R Syndicate for you guys. You know, the commercial idea that came from Mr. T. He's like, hey, we could do some commercials and promos and make them look a little better. And so we appeal to people both visually and, audibly. And it's working, folks. We're getting a lot of great results, getting people started and finding the resources, the people they need. Now, where do we go from here? We go right back to Washington, D.C., that shithole extraordinaire. Well, at least the person who's there, guess what? 90 Proof Nancy. Well, she appeared with no mask in a moderated conversation in the United Kingdom, that is in England, ahead of the G7 speakers meeting. I guess the G7, they have the leadership, and then I guess Nancy, for some reason, gets to be the speaker. And I bet she is very well received in England. I bet they hate her guts as much as we do, in fact. But what does she do? She comes out in front of another country. Now get this. She's in another country, an ally of the United States. And instead of talking about how great the United States is, you know what she does? She comes out and she bashes you. She bashes us. She bashes the United States of America. This little twit who came from California by San Francisco, who resides in Washington, D.C., this little piece of shit dirt. That's basically all she knows is San Francisco, Washington, D.C., right? Some of the biggest shitholes in the country on each coast, definitely. So she calls us, anyone who would believe in freedom and liberty and support Trump, calls them cult members. Cult members. What is a cult? A cult is a religious organization that is so close-minded, so stupid, so sheep-like that they follow everything their charismatic leader says. Now, there's another cult member we talk about quite frequently here. His name is Jim Jones. That's right, the Jim Jones juice. He gave Kool-Aid, the Jim Jones juice, to all his people who followed him as cult members down into French Guiana. They poisoned the Kool-Aid and told everyone, drink your Kool-Aid, and everybody, folks, including Jim Jones, they all died. Who right now is following their charismatic fear porn leaders? The Democrats and the leftists. Who are taking the Kool-Aid? Once again, the leftists. Right? I'm not putting any poisons and toxins in my fucking body. Who are the cult members who are blindly following people they think have their best interests in heart? Not me. I'm not following anybody. I'm listening to this guy, right? At the very least, this guy isn't trying to kill me. I may not be as smart as some other people. I may not have all the information, but I'm not so stupid that I'm going to take poison and ingest it. I'm not going to drink the Kool-Aid. I only have to listen to one guy. Boy, it is crazy, folks. And yeah, Nancy Pants is over there trashing America in front of the United Kingdom. Now, I think that if I were Speaker of the House and I were invited to another country to discuss, I don't know, stuff, political, economic, social, whatever, I wouldn't be trashing my country. I would be talking it up. I would be pointing to our nation's successes and saying, this is a good model to follow. Look at how we've prospered. Look at how the people are happy. Right? That's what you're supposed to do, not go to another country and shit all over your own constituents, your own people, your own country. That's the world we're in, folks. Oh, and yeah, and she spewed all of this anti-America hatred because that's what it's about, folks. Me and you, we're pro-America. It is the political leftists over here, these morons. These are the ones that hate America and want to destroy it, and they're over in other countries shitting all over it. It is just so fucking insane what they're doing. Unbelievable. Now, I want to talk about another great success story. Singapore. Have you guys ever heard of the country of Singapore? It's somewhere that way, somewhere across the ocean. the Pacific Ocean, that is. They have a great success story. Let me tell you about it. You want to hear all about the success of Singapore? Okay, well, I will. I'd love to tell you about it. They have an 81% vaccination rate in Singapore. 4 out of 5 people have gotten vaccinated. Isn't that great? Now, in other news in Singapore, there is a chronic illness explosion. It's probably totally unrelated to anything else. That's right, folks. An incredible illness explosion in Singapore. How is that? What the hell is going on? Right? We can't get the facts. We can't figure it out. Actually, I think I've figured it out. I think I have the numbers, right? Can you, like, how hard is it? Well, there's all kinds of sick people here. I wonder what's caused all that. How hard is it to figure this out, folks? And here's some more for you. I have to be careful, but I think I can say these things, folks. There is another whistleblower who says that the reporting database for tracking tequila shot complications is undercounting by a factor of 100. That's right, folks. It's undercounting by a factor of 100, according to a whistleblower. Folks, everyone out there all over, not everyone, but certainly all over, and enough of them to make it into the news. People are blowing the whistle on this medical fraud that is happening, on all of these lies out here, all of the lies. And folks, I know some leftists personally, and I had to listen to a bunch of shit last night that pissed me right the fuck off. They are that stupid. They're completely that stupid. They can have medical degrees, folks, and they're still fucking morons. They can have specialized training and certifications. They don't know shit. They can't even read their own fucking paperwork, folks. They have no idea what they're talking about. They just go, hey, look, look at my credentials on my little plastic name badge. It's hanging around my neck. I know stuff, and you guys are idiots. Watch, wait, and see. This is now what I've described to a friend of mine as a time game. Football and basketball, hockey, but not baseball. They have time. There's 60 minutes to play. And whether there's a lot of scoring or little scoring, the time runs out. Whether one side completely dominates the other all the way through the game, the time runs out and the game is over. And you look at the scoreboard. Now, the political leftists, all of these totalitarian douches, they're playing their game. They're attacking, right? And we are basically normal people who just want to be free and left alone, are on the defense. But we're getting information, and that information counts as scoring. These whistleblowers, these facts, even the government statistics come out and tell us, what the hell are you thinking, right? But ultimately, time will be up. And we're going to look up at the scoreboard, and we're going to see all the scoring, how much damage was inflicted on each side. If they're undercounting by a factor of 100, that means there's a lot of people out there who are being hurt, and hurt badly. And it's not being reported, and it's not being recorded. And we're getting whistleblowers bringing that up as well. Before I get to you guys, before we switch over, before we do the old swapperoo, the Q&A transition, I want to talk about this, right? The FBI has committed horrendous crimes. And this time it's crimes against underage women. There are something like 70 gymnasts, little girls, gymnasts. They want to bounce around and spin around and fly on bars and flip through the air. They're incredible. They're gymnasts. They had no help with the government. it is so abominable, so disgusting that the FBI boss, Christopher Wray, the head of the FBI, came out and apologized. He didn't apologize to us, the American people, for screwing over Congress and all the investigations, stonewalling, dragging their fucking feet, lying, cheating, and stealing, and then acting like conspicuously prick-like little bastards like that guy, Peter Strzok, looked like the evil elf from Christmas. A gymnast came out. They all came out to talk. They all came out to testify that the FBI fucked up. But one particular gymnast came out and told the story of the horrific abuse that she suffered, and then how the FBI falsified her report to silence her. And she said this: they had legal and legitimate evidence of child abuse, and they did nothing. Unconscionable.
Are you ready?
Well, I'm telling you. Oh, welcome back, everyone. It is now Q&A time, and I want to hear what you are watching, looking at. I've read a lot more than just the stuff we've gone over, but I got to cram it in. I got the first half an hour. You guys get the second half. We've got Wild River Preppers with a question, and he says, what's the likelihood of them dumping the grids this winter? False flag or get us to fall in line? Oh, yeah, you bet, folks. I mean, we had El Presidento, Gigi Biden today, went out in front of the press, threw a bunch of numbers. We're going to spend a bunch of trillions of dollars. And then he tottered off without having to answer any questions and explain how throwing a bunch of money is going to fix the climate. It's going to fix the economy, get inflation under control by printing a bunch more money. That makes sense to me. Anyways, yeah, they've already warned us power's going out. They've already let us know that shit has hit the fan and that they're doing everything they can right to really help us. Your question: could we have them dumping the grids this winter? You bet. We can have all kinds of problems from many different angles. Power plants shut down, railroads shut down, so we can't transport coal from the coal mines to the power plants. We could have mandatory shutdowns because the president could decide that we need to lower our carbon emissions, and he could take some sort of executive action to interfere with interstate railroad lines and cut down on the carbon. We could have, folks, hackers, terrorists attack and screw up our rail lines, our energy pipelines, right? We got a lot of energy, folks, that's produced by nuclear. About 20% of the nation's energy is nuclear. That leaves the other 80, with the exception of whatever they can get in the winter from wind turbines and solar panels that are frozen over with ice, right? The RMZ, no ice. Other places in the country, lots of ice. That leaves, let's see, coal and natural gas-fired power plants. Not much of anything else, really. So what's that tell us? Yeah, we're barely able to keep it going now. Couple of little problems, couple of little hiccups, some infrastructure trouble, and look out. I'm expecting it, folks. But one of the things that I think, and Crispy Bacon, I got to throw all the credit at him for this. I was chatting with him last night, and he says, I think they can tie 2 or 3 ideas together. They could tie Trump supporters and patriots together with a false flag, violent action, and go after us and blame us as like attacking some sort of vaccination campaign, and then go after the Second Amendment at the same time, saying, see, they use their weapons to commit terror against the vaccine stations. Like, oh, you mean like attacking Pfizer or Moderna or Glaxo, whatever the hell that company's called? I mean, how many are there? 5, 6, 7. There's a lot of pharmaceutical companies, but yeah, couldn't armed unvaxxers, couldn't they go after these pharmaceutical companies and extract some fucking revenge? And then, oh yeah, we need to get rid of guns. make sure everyone's vaccinated, they could combine everything. A lot of things anyways. We're going to get some kind of false flag. I can smell it. All right, let's move on. We got Marky de Bruno Klingen. He says, Northern Ireland, the DUP will give anyone a disciplinary action if they go against the COVID protocols. Wow. If you go against the COVID protocols, meaning their rules, their cerveza bug rules. So a disciplinary action. Now, in America, we call it, you can be charged with a misdemeanor, a crime, an infraction of the law, violating some little dictator prick's rules, however you want to put it. But over there, they have much better, England is very polite, very civil. They have disciplinary actions. I've seen some of their disciplinary actions. Sometimes it's someone laying on the ground getting batoned in the head. But disciplinary action, they're getting strict and strict and strict in a lot of countries. America, you have a Second Amendment. America, you have rights. America, you have a Declaration of Independence. And I know, right? I don't know. I wonder what Ireland, Scotland, and England think of our Declaration of Independence. I know the whole world has access to it. They have more access to it than healthcare, apparently. But we have access to that document. What do they think? Because the thoughts, the ideas, the philosophies in the Declaration of Independence were born out of the frustration with tyrannical assholes in Great Britain, in the United Kingdom. That's where it was born from. The understanding that we're free and we have rights existed, but it wasn't until the kings of England and Ireland and Scotland and all those assholes over there would punish their people, disciplinary action. And people got tired of it and they came to America, and well, here we are 250 years later with the same types of assholes coming after us again. Thank you very much, Marky de Bruno. I appreciate it, folks. We got to stick up for each other, and we have to look out for what's coming next. I don't see him letting up. I don't see him lightening up. In fact, a woman and her son were to blame. Her 2-year-old son were to blame, and they landed a plane to kick them off. American Airlines, folks, check that box. Don't fly American Airlines. In fact, I still can't think of any plane or airlines that I am allowed to fly on, according to my rules of FU. So, why did they kick them off? Well, her son, he wasn't some precocious 12-year-old little punk. He wasn't a 19-year-old kid named Luke who thinks masks are stupid. He was a 2-year-old boy who didn't want his mask on because he couldn't breathe. And why couldn't he breathe? He was having an asthma attack on a plane way up in the sky. And so he was trying to take his mask off so he could breathe a little easier, get some air into his lungs. Folks, I've talked to people who are asthmatics in the past and said, what does it feel like to have an asthma attack? And they say, it's like you're gonna die. You can't get enough air in. You panic. It scares the hell out of you. Imagine that with a 2-year-old boy who doesn't understand medicine, who doesn't understand what's going on. Why do I have to wear this mask? Out fucking rageous. All right, Bonnie Blue says the so-called elites better live it up now, because the Bible convinces me that they have no life after this one. Well, I tell you what, an angle I would take with that is a lot of people, they're like, you know what, these people are going to burn in hell. Fuck them, right? Well, no, they basically have made their choice, and they understand the rules of the game, and they don't care. So they're going to make their life, they're going to live it up as much as they can here. Yeah. But they don't care, because they also think, folks, that they're going to combine their soul, the thing that they are, with AI, right? This combining of all human knowledge and intelligence and wisdom. They're going to express themselves and live forever. They believe they're going to be immortal, folks, protected from any judgment. They have fancy names for it and little theories, but It's just incredible. It's absolutely incredible. They don't care. They don't care. They've lived their entire life this way. They don't care. They've sold out. They don't care. They're atheistic. They're downright satanic. They're cruel and petty. A lot of them Satanists accept where they're going. And they don't give a fuck. And that's a problem, folks, when the people in charge, the elites, don't give a fuck. It says a lot, doesn't it? All right, let us move on if we shall. And I want to thank everyone again for all of your support and then bringing really great perspectives, questions, comments, statements, and sometimes a little bit of humor into the conversation. We got Wendy who checks in and says, historic euthanasia laws are being passed in Queensland. That is Australia. Am I going completely over the cliff thinking this Australia euthanasia could be used to make more room in the health hotels? They're trying to, in my opinion, I'm not Australian. Right? Good day, mate. That's about all the Australian I know. Everything else comes to me in English. Australia. It started as a prison colony. It was a very large prison for England. Send their people not only to the other side of the world, but to the, the bottom half. And then what? Put them in a country that, with the exception of the East Coast and Perth, are pretty desolate, right? There's it's hard life there. And these people, these prisoners and good people, they carved a country out of Australia. And it is beautiful country, terrific people. I have not met an Australian personally that I didn't like. I guess I haven't met any of their socialists. I've only met the free ones. They're turning it back into a prison. Isn't that incredible? They're turning it back into a fucking prison. Only it's not the Queen doing it. It's them doing it to themselves. Out fucking standing. It is sickening. Right? Are they trying to make more room? You bet they are. You bet, people, oh, you're going to die? Well, let's help you along. We need more room. Their objective, folks, has been stated many times. Bill Gates and others who are about euthanasia and population control and population reduction, about the sterilization, about abortion, all of these programs are extreme leftist programs to kill off the population. They want less of us around. They said it. They stated it. I don't have to. Georgia Guidestones, Davos, Bilderberg, they're all in on the same game. We got Doc Holt checks in. He says, why wouldn't Pelosi allow the name of the fallen Marines? And there was also Army and, of course, the corpsmen. Why didn't she let the names of fallen Marines and servicemen be read aloud into the right? She prohibited them somehow. She took politicians, our elected representatives in Congress, and told them they're not allowed to say the names of those who died as a result of Joe Biden, Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, Joint Chief Chairman Milley, and all the Joint Chiefs and the Pentagon, everyone responsible for all the decisions and the policies and the procedures for pulling out, which was essentially everyone run for it, get on a plane. They don't want to be criticized. They don't want to be remembered. They don't want it on the congressional record that this happened and that Americans died. Now, it's been recorded in the Library of Congress. It's recorded on the internet. There's lots of recordings of me talking about it. But if you think about it, Nancy Pelosi was able to remove from the House of Representatives the ability to have free speech. You should be able to, as a congressional representative, talk about anything you want, providing, of course, you don't break serious rules like yell fire in a crowded Congress, right? You should speak nicely, even though Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez makes the most ridiculous statements that have no common sense, accuses people of all kinds of crap without evidence, and cusses I don't know, like a whore at 3 a.m. on a Saturday night who couldn't get a ride home. And that's fine, but don't you dare speak the names of our precious servicemen and women who died while trying to help others. And there are many other service people besides those who fell, gave their lives, died, were killed. Many others are injured, severely and not so severely, but injured nonetheless. All their names should be read. Folks, it is, they should be remembered. You know, I think it's really important and critical that we remember them. Pisses me off. What is the military to these United States of America? Folks, without the military, comprised of regular people, patriots, Americans, volunteers, fighting their asses off and giving their lives to battle the Brits of King George, America would never have gained its freedom. That is why today, freedom and those who love it always look to the military as the last line of defense against tyranny, because they saved us before. Biden is destroying the military. And I see that as a primary threat to the defense of these United States. They're trying to intentionally dismantle our military. It appears to me to be an act of war against us, the people. The government sees us as a threat. Thank you for putting that together, Mr. T. That was another improvised set of comments I made the other day. They see the real military as a threat to them. They see us as a threat to them in DC. And they don't want any recognition of how important the military is, how sacred it is to America, how it is our defense, and how the youth of America join it. And then they became sacrificial elements. It's shocking to me, folks. Yeah, that Nancy Pants wouldn't allow this. Well, then she later, right, just today goes over to England and starts crapping all over us again. Is she American? Is that fucking leadership? Who is she representing? I can't see her representing it. She doesn't even represent the Democrats. She just represents an elitist mentality. Anyways, thank you again, Mr. T, for throwing that up there. I appreciate it, putting that together. Where this country is going, folks, it's a shame. We got Ronan 66. He says, John, do you think the Dominion tax machines helped Newsom win? I don't know. I don't know if they did. What I do know, and what I have heard reported, is that people went to go vote. And it's not that they went in and a machine changed their votes. It's that they went in and the votes had already been cast. They weren't allowed to vote because they said, you've already voted. Well, that means somebody voted for them in their stead ahead of time. I don't know how it was done. I don't know who did it. I don't know when it was done. We're just hearing reports that people were disenfranchised in California. That again, Governor Newsom got more votes as a recall candidate in a time of crisis where he has utterly failed the state and punished the people, treating them like peasants, while he went to the finest dining establishments, took off his mask, ran his fucking soup cooler, rubbed shoulders with donators. And he gets more votes, kind of like Donald Trump ran for re-election and got more votes than he had the first time. Most votes ever for a sitting incumbent president. Should have been a just absolutely huge victory, but somehow even more people voted for Joe Biden, more people than any president ever, incumbent or not. How did that happen? I guess that's just how these things work. I don't buy it. I don't buy it for a fucking second. I don't know who did it or what. We just know why they did it. And I was sharing this with a friend the other night, talking about the whys, who, what, where, when, why, how. Those are pretty important questions to ask. And they can be, with one word, a huge question. Why? Why are they doing this? Well, because they want power. What are they doing with that power? They're tearing down America. Why are they tearing down America with the power they got? Because they need to make order out of chaos. They need to make a new order out of the chaos they created. They need this to happen all around the world. It is a new world order. New order of the ages. Novus Ordo Seclorum. Okay, we got Novus Orlando with his statement. He says, the Taliban started a military hardware store. It's called Trader Joe's. And there's that humor. Thank you, Orlando. Yeah, there's a store in America, folks, and we had them on the West Coast. I don't know if we have them over here on the Gulf Coast. But yeah, Trader Joe's. That's a great store. They got their own brands. It's just like any other store. It's just, it's a good marketing campaign. But yeah, the name Trader, as in he trades things. That sounds remarkably like the word traitor. And we've got one in the White House right now named Joe. Thank you very much, Orlando. Appreciate the sense of humor. We got to keep light as we can, folks. Don't let this stuff get you down, right? Remember, Satan is a petty bastard, right? He'll go after you at the littlest things. And this is how it works. If you've got a chain, folks, a big old chain, right? If you pull really hard on both ends until it breaks, where does it break? A chain, a rope, a string, your dental floss, it doesn't matter. It always breaks at the weakest link. And you and I, as real Americans, we don't want to be broken by the system, by the politicians, by the scumbag lawyers. We don't want to be broken. We don't want them to break us down, make us quit, bring down our morale, turn us from optimists about the future of the world and the goodness of the human spirit, and turn it to where everything is dark and evil and bad. They're trying to do that to us. That doesn't mean we ignore it. Doesn't mean we don't see its effect. But we know we have to fight it, right? We have to keep the faith. So don't let them get you down. Not Your Grandpa says, think about all the time we were told to look at Australia when liberals wanted to ban our guns. I'm glad we didn't model our country after Australia. They're being treated like the Jews in Nazi Germany. Brumps. Nailed it, right? Ouch. What the hell? Yeah, I remember when they were confiscating guns in Australia and all the Democrats were over here in the United States. They were rubbing their grimy little fucking fingers and licking their little lips with their serpent tongues. They look like a Hannibal Lecter, right? Just a bunch of dirty little fucks like Gollum Smeagol, thinking they could get the Second Amendment here in this country destroyed, but fuck no and fuck them. We didn't fucking put up with their fucking bullshit, did we? No siree, we did not. And we shouldn't. The Second Amendment is ours. It is a right of the people. It is not a right of the government. It's not a certificate, a license, special permission of the government. It's the Second Amendment. It's our freedom. We didn't lose it, thankfully, because now we're looking at what's going on in Australia. We're looking at what's going on in Australia. They've taken their guns. There's some, but not many. The people are being told what to do, herded around like cattle, being forced to go live in special camps without having committed a crime, injured anybody, hurt anybody. They're just being told that, well, because we say you just might be a threat. You might be a risk. You could be hurting someone. We just don't know. Or maybe they're claiming they do know. Oh, yeah, you got cerveza. You're an evil, evil person. They did the same thing with the Jews. They said, hey, you Jews, watch your step around here. Then they said, hey, you Jews, this is Nazi Germany. Hey, you Jews, we don't like what you've been doing. hey, you Jews, we're tired. You've hurt our country. And then it was, hey, we need to take you Jews and move you someplace safe because the people are really angry at you. Never mind that it was the government agents, agents provocateurs, and mass media propaganda, newspapers, everything else in Germany, painting at the behest of Joseph Goebbels, Minister of Propaganda for Germany, and of course the entire Reichsmark and just everything in Germany was wanting to blame somebody, Jews. And so for their own safety and the safety of the country. And of course the government said, we're going to take your money, Jews, because you have been hurting us too. And they put the Jews for their own health into these camps. They may as well call them health camps. They solved all their diseases, folks. Did you know that? Because every Jew that they killed no longer has a disease. They're dead. And I'm not making a joke there. I bet in their twisted little minds they could say that. Well, we solved all their health problems by taking their lives. They're not suffering anymore. Isn't that just fucking fabulous? That sounds a lot like Democrats today. Oh yeah, these sick people clinging to their guns and Bibles, these Americans, these patriotic types, clinging to their guns and Bibles. We need to send them to re-education camp to get their minds right, to deprogram them. Right, Katie Couric? I tell you, folks, get this. This is a Yahoo.com story that I found, and I wanted to bring it to you. This is a matter of life and death, says the Army. Active duty soldiers must be vaccinated by December 15th. A deadline. What an appropriate name for this entire fucking mess. It's a deadline. We want everyone vaccinated by the deadline. They're expected, everyone, right? It's quite literally a matter of life or death for our soldiers, their families, and the communities in which we live, said Lieutenant General Dingle. Lieutenant General Dingle, the Army's Surgeon General. He said, case counts and deaths continue to be concerning. Of course they're concerning. It's just, where are you laying the blame, fuckstick? I tell you. They're saying that protecting the force through mandatory vaccine, it's a health and readiness priority. So now they're saying that doing this, giving people the Jim Jones juice, it's a priority for health and readiness. That's kind of like, let's do drag queen shows for operational readiness as well. Makes about as much sense as far as I'm concerned. And of course, Defense Secretary Lloyd J. Austin III, he got involved and issued a memorandum as well. But basically, those who refuse are going to be counseled by their superiors. I love this fucking comment and concept, that someone who has higher rank than you is your superior. Now, I know it's an old expression and it's been around for hundreds of years to think that someone who is higher than you in rank is superior. Someone that's older than you is superior. I don't buy any of that shit. I've met some young people, folks. I'm like, I'm listening to you. You're pretty fucking smart. And I met older people and said, you know what? I'm listening to you. You're pretty smart. And either both above and below me, I've also heard some of the most ignorant, stupid shit. And I don't give a fuck if these people are a 1-star general or a 20 frickin' star general. I don't give a shit. Stupid is what stupid does, right? So you're going to get counseled by your superior. Show me someone who's my superior. And I'm going to show you someone who has no more right to live, breathe, or eat than I do. Or tell me what to do. Anyways, but if service members are not granted an exemption, a legitimate medical or religious exemption, and who gets to decide that? Well, only I get to decide my religion. Nobody else gets to judge it, weigh it, or grade it. Oh, that would be the First Amendment. I guess we need to just get rid of that fucking thing. Certainly in the service, it doesn't count for much. And a medical exemption? Yeah, who cares? Your problem. They're going to get rid of you. Basically what they said is if you don't comply with their mandate, you can be discharged or disciplined. Discipline, huh? Discipline, you mean like they do in Northern Ireland, where you get, some sort of government discipline? Essentially, you can be thrown in the brig, have your rank taken, have your money taken. That's discipline in the military, folks. Those are the three primary ways they discipline you. Take your money, take your rank, throw you in the brig, the clink, the lockup, the stockades, whatever they call them. In the Marines, we had the brig. Or they'll just discharge you. So for me, it became obvious that what they're doing is they're trying to scare people from enlisting unless they're already a bunch of leftist, vaccine-loving dipshits. And they're going to try and drive people in the military out. They're going to either get them to join them in this deadline, or they're going to want to punish them and or kick them out. In other words, they're ordering people to do this. You have no rights when people above you can discipline you and throw you in jail for not obeying their unconstitutional edicts. I want to thank everybody for joining us here on the Prepared Mind channel, talking about all these things. And we'll be back, folks. We'll be back with, at the end of the week, the worldwide weekly wrap-up, uncensored, will be Saturday on Patreon. But before we get there, we will be talking about the Horse's Ass Award as well. What an incredible week of SHTF. Do you have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense? Do you have a plan together? Do you understand the world you live in, the 10-mile radius around you? Because that's where most of the shit's going to be coming from. If not all of it, certainly 99% of it. Understand your world, your neighbors, your resources in your area, what you need. And it's going to get nasty, folks. Chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Godspeed. Semper Fi.